Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about Vue. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Hi Frederick, excuse my ignorance, but will working with primarily Vue.js lower my market value long term? I've done React and TypeScript for the most part of my college years, but got a great opportunity to work as a Vue developer recently. I can't seem to shake off the thought that if I were a React and TypeScript mid-level, I'd be worth more. Am I just being ignorant and insecure? Mm, yes and no. It depends a little bit. So the thing that you should know is that the usage and adoption of tools across different regions of the world when it comes to IT. Some people get paid more, some people get less. In some regions, backend developers get paid more, and in some front-end developers get paid more, etc., etc. It's not that common that because Vue is it's another front-end framework. It's a specific framework, and currently I don't really see much in terms of a difference when it comes to salary. It's it's I imagine a very similar sort of deal, right? Because the thing that companies do when they hire a front-end developer is not necessarily that it's not like you're thinking in terms of a React developer has learned something that is more difficult to understand than a Vue developer. You think more in terms of, can this person produce the results that I want? Because that is basically what a front-end developer should be all about. Now, there is a little clause to this, which is the thing that is most important to understand, which is that Vue, React, Angular, Ember, Nokia, it doesn't really matter what, you can use whatever you want. These are just tools, guys. They are just ways for you to implement an SPA. Well, it doesn't have to be an SPA, but it's usually an SPA. And so the thing that determines primarily your market value, I mean, if they're looking for specifically a React developer, they're looking for a React developer, but I've never found I've never found that a front-end developer who truly understands the core, I guess I'd like to say, that has the core skills. I've never found such a person to find it very difficult to adopt another framework. Guys, I've been offered positions for, like, I've done interviews for Angular jobs, and I haven't done Angular in at least now 5 years, I think, like at the professional level. Apart from dabbling a little bit, it took me literally less than an hour to go and take a look at the new updates to Angular and sort of understand, yeah, okay, there are a few differences here that I'm going to have to read up on, but it's still Angular. It's not like it's changed so dramatically that I can't recognize it. And so the thing that is important for you to understand is that being a front-end developer is not about learning React. It's not about learning Vue. It is about understanding how front-end technologies work and being able to produce within that space. And the sad fact is that this is why I have to spend so much time turning down candidates. Like on average, I would say I could turn down more front-end candidates than I turn down back-end candidates, because the average front-end candidate only goes and learns Vue or React or something like that because they're stupid and ignorant, and they're being sold an idea that is completely false, and that is the end of front-end. It's not. Frontend is an enormously complicated, gigantic ecosystem where the only person who is worth anything usually is a full-stack developer. And I've said that now, and you can go and be as triggered as you want, but I've been doing this for many years now, and I can tell you that the average knowledge when it comes to understanding how different types of CSS work, how to do if you ask a average front-end developer what is a bundler, they don't understand what I'm talking about. If you ask them simple questions related to how they even do their own workflow, they have a hard time explaining it. If you ask them what a React hook is, they might, the ones that are so-called mid-levels, they will know that. But the average, especially the juniors, they lack severe amounts of knowledge in order to be productive within an environment that is anything besides the bare bone basics. And the reality, guys, is that is just not good enough. And that is the thing that is going to give you the real value. The reason why the people that I work with get paid fairly well, and the reason why I myself, for example, have had a fairly easy time finding work as a front-end developer, is because I actually know more than React. I know more than Vue. I know how to actually do all of the things related to front-end development, and that is not just writing the code in the framework. It is everything from SEO optimizations, it's understanding how to do semantic HTML, it's about understanding how the server works so you can actually serve something up, because if you can't even set up like a simple Express server or something like that without Create React app or whatever, you're useless to the vast majority of companies. Knowing how the TypeScript compiler actually works, knowing what a bundler is, how Webpack works, how all these sorts of things fits together, and how to use different loaders, etc., etc. Knowing how Docker works so that you can actually deploy the fucking thing, knowing what a CDN is so you actually can optimize your static so you can serve up so you can leverage static resource loading from a CDN network such as Akamai or whatever, knowing how DNS works, HTTPS works, and etc., etc., etc. The list just goes on and on, guys, because the thing that so many people do not understand is that nobody gives a shit if you know Vue, React, or Angular specifically. They care about, can you ship this thing in accordance with all the things that are necessary in order to deliver the value that the thing that you're using is doing. That is the thing that matters. Nobody cares about, if you're a front-end developer who only knows this thing or that thing or so forth and so forth. What they care about is, can you do all the things that are necessary? And I can tell you right now, guys, when I hire front-end developers, and I've done so for many different companies, it always comes back to the same thing. You have to express the framework, and you say you are using React, TypeScript, etc., etc. But there's also 100 other things that we can't create a perfect definition of all the things that you're going to have to know in order to work within the company that I work with. But you're going to have to learn it, you're going to have to adopt it, and that is the thing that gives you value. You're not going to be worth more if you know React or Vue, in terms of like we're just going to pay you more, because it comes down to, that has much more to do with, are there any jobs in your region? And that might be if there's an enormous demand for Vue developers or versus React or Angular or something like that, then maybe you'll get paid more. But the thing that really gets you paid more is that you actually know all the things that are necessary to produce value for the company. So what I want you to take away from this is that I'm not saying that you're ignorant or insecure. You probably are both, but at the same time, it's not easy to say that. Yeah, well, if you were to learn, it's hard to say that Vue or React is going to be more valuable to you. It really comes down to what are people paying for. That's the only thing that I can always say, which you can always take to the bank, is that the thing that makes your salary go up, the thing that makes you valuable and gets you paid more, is your seniority. And a senior Vue developer or a senior React developer is a joke to the vast majority of software companies, because what a senior is an individual who can produce the results given the circumstances that they have been provided with. Guys, I have talked to so-called mid-levels or people who apply to senior level positions who are laughably underqualified to be a senior quote-unquote front-end developer. As I've said in a few other videos, it's actually only recently I met a single person that I would consider a senior front-end developer, and incidentally they're full-stack developers, because the front-end doesn't end at the JavaScript. It's more than that part, because there's surrounding technologies that are necessary to understand in order to ship a UI of any sort, and that is the thing that gives you the higher pays. And if you look at what I mean, if I'm still considered as I'm primarily focused on the front-end teams at this point. If you compare my salary increase from when I started, like my first gig as a front-end quote-unquote developer, to where I am today, I've almost doubled my salary. Well, it's more than doubled my salary. And the way you get there is that you continue learning all the, not just the like the SPA tool, because I mean I'm using React these days as well. It is bound to understanding everything around it, making everything a success. You don't have to be like a die-hard back-end developer, but you have to understand that there is more to front-end than the SPA framework that you are using. Have a great day.